The song of a lad that is gone.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaylee and today's video is all about episode 5 from season 6 of Outlander. Now, if you have been following along with this reaction or review kind of, I don't know what we were really calling it, but the series talking about season 6, wow. Wow, what an episode did we get this week. I have absolutely fallen in love with this season. It is possibly one of my all-time favorite seasons. Everything about it is falling into place so nicely, and there's so many nods to the book. I mean, it is literally at this point pretty much, except for the, of course, ether scandal, following along to the books to the letter, and I'm living for that. I didn't realize how much I would love a season until it really did follow down pretty much every key element of the book until this season. And I am loving it. Absolutely loving it. So this episode was titled Give Me Liberty, and man, as soon as it started, did we know we were in for a very, very cool episode. Obviously, the new opening scene happens. Oh wow, I'm in love with that. I don't know if they're going to continue that on throughout the rest of the season. I'm really interested to know what you think. Do you think that was a one-off, like just that little throw-in to give everyone that history recap? Or do we think that is going to be the intro for the next, what do we got? 3 episodes. Oh, 3 episodes left. Do you think that's going to be the new, like the intro? What are your thoughts on that? Now, I will do a separate video, I have decided, about this new intro and talk more in depth about it because, I mean, I like to do that for every season. So we'll definitely have another video for that, which will come out very, very shortly. But that to me, the singing, everything about it, I loved. Flora MacDonald, though, captured me instantaneously when she came onto the screen, and I picked good old Bonnie Prince in the background instantly, as I'm sure most people did. Now, during this entire scene, we get to see that Flora MacDonald was actually the reason for Bonnie Prince Charlie to escape everything that was happening at the time, and he did, well, go as a woman across the water to his, little safety net. Good old Bonnie Prince, he got out and left everybody behind. But I loved that they gave that and they put that in as instead of just talking about it, the fact that we actually got it as a scene, I really loved. And hearing that mark me, man, as much as he annoyed me as it was happening back in season 2-ish or whatever season it was, the mark me, drove me nuts. I loved that they put it in just for that little reassurance of, oh, okay, have you forgotten who this is? Because here's his line, and I'm sure everyone instantly knew from that point. If you had any questions, any doubts, the second mark me came out of that man's mouth, we knew who he was.
Mistress MacDonald.
Owe you my lifelong gratitude. Mark me, dear Flora. Your kindness will not go unremembered.
We then also see that Jamie has officially resigned as Indian agent. Now, this is, of course, in the lead up with everything that's going on. He's definitely laying down that, my allegiances are going to change in this season. We know, of course, what's happening, but for everyone on the outside, including Lord John Grey, who was very graciously sitting there sort of defending him, but also being safe, like, no, I'm sure that's, he definitely doesn't mean this as he's not going against the crown. It just, tension for poor Lord John Grey. I loved seeing David Berry in this episode. I mean, we know as book readers that Lord John has a lot of storyline left to give. Now, if they, of course, get through to the books that he really does pop in on the TV screen, which we all hope he does. We all hope it makes it that far. It's going to be very interesting to have David Berry in so many different I want to say roles or different responsibilities. I don't want to give anything away if you're not a book reader, but I'm really, really happy to see David Berry. And as an Aussie, seeing David Berry on the screen portraying somebody in Outlander, love it.
Martin, from James Fraser, Esquire.
Resignation as Indian agent. I remain your most humble servant, James Fraser.
Jamie also talks to Cornelius Harnett, who is a part of the, what's it called? The correspondence group, what are they called? The little group of people that are now rallying together to sort of rebelize everything and just, you know, basically he's talking with the enemy of the crown. Anyway, and it's very much being broadcasted that he is going to join, and he's in the same beliefs as these gentlemen, and it's just, you know, it's setting in that, yeah, I'm against the crown. I'm here. I'm with you. I'm gonna be on this side, the winning side, but I'm here. Let's do this. And it's a bit scary because it's like, oh, I just. We know they can't change their future. We know that's happening. We just know it. We know he needs to be on this side, but it's like, oh, do we not learn from our lessons back in the day? I mean, I just can't wait for this to play out. Very excited.
Why do you smile like that? Because I see I'm among men who have about as much respect for the king as I do.
The episode doesn't only concentrate on the war aspects though, which is something else that I like. I like that we definitely have a mix-in of family relations and family drama and non-war drama sort of coming in throughout this episode. And now that is when we see Roger, who is still spending a lot of time at Amy McAllister's house. Obviously, he promised to make sure that she would always have a roof over her head and food on the table, and he definitely is. You know, he's keeping his oath, he's keeping his promise, he's currently trying to fix the chimney, but he's definitely starting to spend a lot of time at Amy's house, and people are starting to notice. Look, we all know Roger. It's not anything to worry about on that aspect, but I mean, look at the era, look at the time frame. It's probably not the best sort of thing for Roger to be doing, hanging out with Amy McAllister a lot of the time, especially when he slips up and starts to hum a tune from his own time. So Roger's starting to let his guard down a little bit around Amy McAllister.
Oh, I doubt you'd know this one. It's from, it's a favourite of where I come from. And travelled many a mile, I've missed the folk I've cherished the most.
Brie, Masali, Lizzie and Mulva are all currently looking for somewhere along the stream for Brie to build her new water wheel. She is such a just powerful woman. I am loving Brie this season because she is all work, no play. She's just straight to the point, sharpshooter, like just very much, let's get it done. Let's bring indoor plumbing to the ridge, and I love it. Absolutely love it. But whilst they're out looking for this, they do come across this love charm that's going on, and it's here. It's sort of brought up, you know, well, it could be from the Fisher folk, it could be Amy McAllister. You know, there's bones here. This is definitely a love charm. Something, you know, you just know instantly that something nasty is happening, and it's sort of building up that sort of. You want to think that it's Amy McAllister and a love charm. We know, because we've all watched the episode now, that it's not, but at this point in time it really is a good point, because it's like, it could be anyone. It really could be anyone, and you sort of have your suspicions about who it might be, but it really at that point in time could have been anyone. Then of course we see Lizzie get her malaria sort of stroke through again, and they have to go home. But like I said, I loved that they threw this in. Absolutely love it.
Yes, if you could explain it to us in a little more detail, perhaps we could be of better help.
Well, I need a narrow part, but still with enough water to turn a water wheel.
Bones.
Of an animal?
No. Finger bones.
Believe it's a love charm.
The one they call Venom of the North Wind.
Flora MacDonald officially arrives for her gathering sort of thing in Wilmington, and we do discover that it was actually funded by Aunt Jocasta a little bit later on. But this is where Lord John Grey and Jamie and Claire officially have their first meetup for the episode. And I mean, every time they're in the same room together, in the same scene, you really do see that connection, especially, like, I mean, I know it's a connection from Jamie's point of view to Lord John Grey, or probably a bit more of a friendship, but, like, that real respect and love they have for each other on different levels for each other. But the actors portray it so well that you believe it. You truly, truly believe it.
John. That should come as no surprise. I have a particular fondness for reformed Jacobites.
The ladies all have a bit of a catch-up and sort of a breather outside with Aunt Jocasta, Flora MacDonald, and Claire. Now, as they're sitting there, Claire has basically given Aunt Jocasta a pipe full of weed to help ease her pain that she's having with her eyes. And of course, they're all getting to chatting and things like that. And it's noticed that Flora MacDonald's necklace is missing a green gemstone. And of course, they're talking about Bonnie Prince Charlie and all the different royals and just politics and bits and pieces when King Louis is brought up into Claire's mind as they're sort of talking about the fact that, you know, she has met him and blah, blah, blah. We then see, of course, that Claire doesn't take this very well, and she definitely is triggered by the memory of King Louis and everything that has happened. And we again see another moment where Ether comes into play. Now, this time it wasn't okay, Ether is definitely portrayed in this episode, and she's definitely taken it. She's definitely, you know, she was delayed for the next meeting and all that sort of stuff. But it wasn't as publicized as it has been in previous episodes. I clearly was wrong when I said in a previous episode that I don't think it's going to be a big thing. I think this is going to be our reasoning for, and I again don't want to put a spoiler in here, but for when we lose something big and gigantic later on, I think she's going to get the blame. Which, I don't know. I feel like this might be the one thing that they change. I mean, we obviously know that she's having Ether is a change, but the way it portrays later events, I think that might also be changed, and she might get some of the blame.
I think we are a veritable gentleman's club.
And that we lay together?
In the boat.
The Christies were definitely not left out of this episode, and at this point in time, we see Tom Christie and Alan Christie, along with Roger, pushing the bell up the hill. It's basically about to be installed. And Roger goes into the church to see what's going on, to see if there's, you know, get rope or something. And he finds Mulva and, what was his name? I can't remember his name, in a very compromising position. And of course, Mulva, the just lovely young lady, goes straight to blackmail. Straight to, if you tell my father, I will tell everyone that you have been making out with Amy McCallum, and it's all, sorry, not Amy McCallum. What's her name? Amy McAllister. And, you know, I will absolutely blackmail you. I will tell everyone. Everyone will believe me. You will be in big trouble. And I'll be just over here like Mulva, the great, lovely young lady. I mean, Mulva, what can we say about her? She's actually, I love to hate her. She's one of those villains that I love. Every time she comes on to the screen, I'm captivated by what is happening. And that is the best compliment I can ever give a villain in any show. If I am truly captivated by what you're doing and I still don't like, if I don't like you, but I'm captivated by you, you are doing a fantastic job at the portrayal, and the storyline written for your character is amazing. And that is absolutely what I think about Mulva and her storyline. The way it's being portrayed, the way it's coming across on screen, every little bit about the Mulva storyline, I'm loving. Even though it's a horrible storyline and we know it's not her villain storyline, I'm just loving. And I'm sure there's other people out there that are like, how can you say that? She's so evil, rah, rah, rah. But I truly am. Every time she comes on the screen, I sort of have that, ooh, here's Mulva, what's she gonna say?
Send not to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee.
I dare say my father is somewhat suspicious of happiness. Are you not, father?
For what's
Word to my father, Mr. Mackenzie, and I'll tell everyone I've seen you kissing Amy McCallum.
I've done no such thing.
But everybody knows you spend more time with the widow than you do your own wife.
Fergus, of course, has had a lot of storyline this season and a lot of sort of moments, but we do find out that he is no longer at the Ridge. He has been, I don't want to say sent away, but Aunt Jocasta has certainly helped boost him along his journey in purchasing him a print shop. So he's currently there, and we know that Masali and the kids are all going to go there eventually. They just haven't sort of trekked off yet. But that is where he is currently at. It was kind of, I don't know, it was, I mean, obviously he's had a lot of storyline already, but it was really just dumped in there as a one-liner, like, oh, Fergus is at a print shop that Aunt Jocasta bought, and he's gone, and they're leaving. And we know I love Masali. I don't want her to leave. There's just, there's so much coming. I like, and I mean, because they're starting to follow the book so well, it's like, ooh, there's a lot coming for that poor little family.
You, since it was your money that bought him the shop.
He understands the dangers.
But if anything should happen to my son.
Speaking of poor little families, well, not poor little families, but we then learn some amazing news, and that is that Brie is pregnant again. So their little family of 3 is turning into a family of 4. Again, book readers know who is coming, and spoiler alert in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When Mandy arrives, I cannot wait to see the reaction and to see how her storyline is portrayed. Although I am going to be that person that has really negative vibes about it. I don't think that we are going to see the series last that long. I don't believe that the TV series will catch up to the books, and I don't actually think we're going to see the extreme momentum and the extreme importance of Roger and Mandy not Roger and Mandy, of Jem and Mandy. I really hope we do, don't get me wrong. I'm building myself up to have that disappointment that we might not get it. But fingers crossed we do. I want it more than anything. But I'm starting to worry about how much we're going to actually get in and when this is going to tie up and be an ending. But we never know. Fingers crossed. Absolutely fingers crossed.
I want to spend my time with you and Jamie. Just the 3 of us.
All the 4 of us.
Really?
Really?
Mulva, of course, gets one last hurrah in this episode, and that is when we see her going into a big open tent that has clearly got something in there decomposing when you can hear the flies buzzing around. And the corpse that is there, now I believe it was the Sin Eaters, but I'm not 100% certain, so if you know who that body was, please pop it down below. I'm pretty sure it was the Sin Eater, but again, like I said, if I'm wrong, always please correct me, no issues there. But we see her doing her devious little deed of cutting off the fingers. And we know now that the love charm, or the venom of the North Wind love charm, requires bones and seaweed. And we pretty much discover that she is in fact the one setting up the love charms. Now, of course, though, there's been moments throughout this season that you've seen Mulva sort of have a connection with young Ian, and she did the whole, like, stroke of the hand, and we know that she's definitely been hooking up with, what's his name, old mate in the church. Like, who is this actually dedicated towards? Nobody is quite sure at this point, but it's coming. Mulva's storylines are coming, and they're fantastic to... I don't want to say they're fantastic to watch because I haven't seen them yet, but like I said earlier, I'm a big fan of her storyline, and I'm a big fan of how it's being portrayed, so I'm loving this one. But probably one of the biggest moments throughout this episode, well, for me anyway, was as Claire and Jamie are packing up the wagon getting ready to leave, we of course hear the whistle tune of just I want to say it's the Independence March, and I did Google what the actual song was called like the other day, and I now can't remember what it was actually called. But that song we know is not from their time. It is, you know, a symbolism and of everything to come. And Claire, of course, hears it, but brushes it off like, no, that must have just been the wind. We then, of course, go to a scene in a jail cell where we see a pretty disheveled looking man holding a very familiar looking green gemstone, which was clearly from Flora MacDonald's necklace, and he's humming and whistling this tune. Now, I mean, again, spoiler, because it probably wasn't revealed on the episode, and if you're not a book reader, well, I mean, no, you've met him, so I suppose it's not a spoiler. Well, look, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoiler alert, skip for a good 30 seconds. Wendigo, I mean, he's here, he's back, he's ready to rock, he's ready to cause drama. But I'm ready for it. I'm so ready for another time traveler to come in, and I want to know if they mention other people that are time travelers instantly in this episode. Especially because I'm reading Go Tell the Bees That I'm Gone, and anyway, I'm not going to do too much spoilery, but wow, I'm very, very excited to see how this is going to play out and what is actually going to happen. I can't wait till we're at the end of this season and we can talk a bit more freely once everything has been played out and we know where this season actually ends, because of the fact that, like, we don't know what is going to be portrayed in this season from the book. I don't want to jump too far ahead and ruin it for anybody, but once it's all out and we can talk very freely about everything that's happened and the things that are to come, I'll be very, very excited, and I'll be very excited to hear about everything that you guys are thinking about what's going to come and what is sort of going to be portrayed in this season or in season 7. On a side note, they have started releasing images from the filming of season 7 on different formats and different forums and social medias and things. I am very excited. I mean, I'm very, very excited about what is to come for season 7. And I love seeing all these little tidbits on the internet about, you know, the filming and everything that is happening. So if anyone has insider knowledge about their filming schedule and you would like to email that through to me, I would absolutely love that. I mean, what more can I say? I'm an Outlander addict, as I'm sure each and every one of you are. I really hope you have enjoyed today's recap, and if you have, please remember to hit that subscribe button, the like button, or the share button. They all very much help the channel grow, and I will see you again very shortly when we deep dive into the brand new opening theme song and credits. So I hope you enjoy that video too. Have a great day. Bye.
Oh, that was me.